Alright, welcome to the third video in this series of my Monday market breakdown. And yeah, if you're new here, subscribe and yeah, let's just get on with the video. Alright, so as you can see, I have quite a number of pairs in my watch list for this week. Right, that's because there's quite a lot of opportunities, other opportunities that I kind of left behind. But then this is just my watch list. Doesn't mean that I will actually involve myself. It just means that there are certain things that I want to see that I saw in them, and as they keep maturing, the ones that actually start to form the right way that I want them to are the ones that I'm going to end up taking. So without wasting much time, let's just check the first aspect, the first pair that we have here, which is the AUDJPY. At this point, what I can obviously see, I can see that initially we're in a downtrend, right? Price broke this high, this swing point, this highest swing point. Not just did that, price did give us a sweep from this point, broke the structure, and then broke this high. Right. So obviously this is the point of break, right? This is the point of break of structure. And if I should draw out my my higher high and higher low indicator, you can see it's exactly the same way that I've just said it. Right, this is a swing low, swing high, swing low, swing high, swing low, got swept at this point because this is clearly not a break of structure. This is a clear sweep of liquidity right here. Right, price gave us a clear sweep of liquidity right here, broke structure, we pulled back, right, filled up this imbalance. Obviously you can see that this imbalance is filled up already, right, filled up to the point of the 50% level, which is the consequent encroachment, the CE level, right? So there's possibility price might not even come to that point at all, which brings me to this point, right? Look at this huge expansion to the upside. Right, look at this huge expansion to the upside, right, with fair value gap around this point, and this point, right? Although this is not the kind of setup I want to take, I would want to see just one singular FVG around the 71% level. But then this is still a good setup overall, right? Because at this point we are switch bullish, right? We are switch bullish already at this point. And then if you check the lower time frame, you would obviously see that we are bearish on here, because I can see this swing point, this swing high, this swing low, this swing high, and this guy got broken. Obviously we are coming down, right? So coming into the week, I hope this is we get a good opportunity to play in this with these assets, right? So but then anything can happen in this industry, anything can happen. So with that being said, let's move on to the next pair, the EURUSD. Why I'm actually looking at this EURUSD, because EURUSD is still clearly bearish, right? We are still clearly bearish. Price hasn't broken any external swing points just yet. Although if you look at here, we can obviously see that price has given us some internal shifts in market structure, right? And internal structure is bullish right here, external is bearish. Let me pull up my maybe I should just leave it on, and you can obviously see that we are still bearish on EURUSD. Again, what I can see, I kind of checked the DXY dollar index, and I can see that you can see just exactly the same as Euro USD, right? I kind of used the trend line to kind of get my trade. This is just a new implementation though. It's just another confluence, right? So just like so, drag it just like so, and then we add a more steepled trend line from here, right? So we can see that we are clearly still bearish, right? Looking at the dollar index as well, dollar index here, we are still clearly bullish, right? And then looking at this what's the name, this point right here, we have clear FVG at this point that needs filling up before the drop, right? Before the drop. I've actually said that we wasn't going to talk about this my new confluence, but then I don't see any need to gatekeep anything, right? Something that might actually be of benefit to everyone. There's no need to actually gatekeep it. That's why I just decided to just put out there. It's just a new confluence that I discovered yesterday while studying, right? So that being said, I am still bearish on the Euro USD, but then looking at GBPUSD here, GBPUSD has shifted bullish at this point, right? Why did I say that? Look at this swing high that has been taken, right? But then I am not going to involve myself in this GU trade. Why? Because it's going against dollar index, and I don't have a good feeling about that, right? But then the market doesn't care about my feeling, right? That's just what I feel. That's just how I want to interpret the information the market has brought to me, right? So with that being said, let's just move on to the next pair, which is the USDCHF. USDCHF as well, I am bullish here too, because you can clearly see that right from this point we're initially bearish, right? We're initially bearish, creating higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high, right? Then we took out this higher low, right, to form this higher high, higher low. I took this opportunity. I took this buy, right? I took this buy. So at this point, we can clearly see that if I draw out my trend line from this point right there, right, you can see that this guy, these two swing points were the main point of swing at this point before it got broken, right? Before it got broken, we broke out of this line, price broke the main structure, right? Then looking at this swing points, right, we had FVG, although we had FVG on this point, but then this guy, we tapped on it before the momentum to the upside, right? Then look at this momentum, FVG, I took advantage of this point and then pump, right? Now you can see that we are clearly on a new trend right here. A new trend has been formed right here, and we are now what? We are now bullish, right? Price is now bullish on here, right? So this is another setup that I'm expecting on here, right? So the next one is the AUDNZD. AUDNZD as well is bearish. We are now bearish, right? We are initially bullish, right? Price switch and became bearish, right? At this point now, you can clearly see that a new range has been formed, a new trend has been formed, rather, right? So we just broke structure from here, FVG at this point, right? So this guy might take up to upper week before we might see something significant or to take advantage of this trade setup, right? So we have another one, CADJPY. This one too, we are bullish, and we have been bullish. Okay, the bullish trend just started actually, right? If we are to look at it from this point, right, you can see that we are initially bullish on here, right? Price broke this structure, it became bearish, and almost immediately price came to break the structure, and then we are now bullish on here, right? And then here is where the most extreme FPG is. There's all possibility that price might just react from here and just keep going like that. There's all possibility, but then this is where I would hope to catch the move. Why? Because we still have an FVG at this point, and then look at this break of structure right here. This is still a good swing structure, right? This is still a good swing structure. So moving on to the next one, the EURCAD. Here we are bearish. Why did I say that? We're initially bullish, right, till price broke this external swing point, right? Actually, that's not an external swing point, because if I'm to look at it from this point, I had this swing high, this swing low, swing high, swing low, swing high, swing low, right? Failure swing. They call this thing failure swing, right? Why? Because it fails to break this high, right? And then price just went on and broke this level right here, right? So which makes this point the extreme swing point, right? Which makes this guy the extreme swing point, and it got broken right there, right? And obviously we had we could call this piece our sweep, you call this piece our sweep, but then I don't bother myself drawing all those stuff. I just kind of try to look for where I'm going to take my entry using this flip tool, and just take advantage of that move and move on, right? Then next we have the NAS100. NAS100 has been bearish for a while because I took a sell on here, although this is an internal sell. I later got to discover that this is an internal structure. Why? Because this is the most extreme swing point right here, right? We had this guy taking out, right, the pullback, and then this continuation, right? So on here I can clearly see that this guy is bearish already. How do I see that? Look at all the touches on the swing point right here, right? And clearly we're bullish initially, right? I can just take my trend line and draw it from this point right there. I can see how it broke this extreme point, right, and became bearish from there, right? So so yeah, that's why I'm bearish on here. We had this break of structure, the expansion to the downside, right? FVG lining up with the 71%, and yeah, that's just it. That was my expectation for the NAS100. And then lastly, the CADJPY. CADJPY here, I'm bullish on here. Why? Because look at it. Because why not? Look at it. So we're initially bearish, right? Lower highs, lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower low, right? And we got taken out from here, right? So at this point, we should expect bullish pricing from here. So that's just it for this video. And if you are still here till this point and this is something you would like to see frequently, say something in the comment section, and I hope you have a great week ahead of you. Peace and love.